everyone, Fluffy Cathy here, and welcome to another cat review. Today we are doing Ascendance of a Bookworm, both Season 1 and Season 2. Ignore what you just saw. Oh god, I'm really excited because the Nether update has been released, and I am excited to move on to the next world, where I can build with more blocks. So this is the final, I guess, time we're gonna see 1.15. Alright, let's get to it. Now, mispronunciations and spoiler warnings. You have been warned. Oh gosh, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the next update, but right now we need to focus. Okay. So today we will be talking about Ascendance of a Bookworm. Now, this anime has 2 seasons, so I made a combination of both the first season and the second season, but there aren't as many builds because we are going to show off not only the anime builds, but also the super secret builds that I've been hiding away from you guys, along with any redstone contraptions until they're rebuilt over there in 1.16. So right now, we're going to be looking at this. I bet what you're wondering, Kathy, what is this? Well, I'll tell you. It's a little stall. Now, have you ever wanted to sell things to your friends? Or to villagers? Or just lock them up in like little areas? Well, this is the little build for you. This is a very simple, of course, little stall. Now it has some, of course, well, I think string, so that way the vines don't go all over the place, so, it's just preventing it. But other than that, the build is very, very simple, only requiring a few different blocks. Now, I did give it, this, I guess, little stone, because in the show, you don't really see the top part. You can only see the little, I guess, not barriers, but what's it called? Support beams! There we go, that's the word I'm looking for. Forgive me, I'm a little bit nervous for the 1.16. I haven't yet seen all the blocks myself. I've been kind of keeping myself in the dark, so yeah, I'm really excited. Anyways, so this is a very simple shop that you can set up for your villagers so you can entrap them and they can never, ever, ever, ever leave. And you can see like what they're selling and whatnot. It's a very simple build, to be honest, and very, not medieval, but more like run down in a way. But I really like the feel. Basically, she goes to a church where, basically, let's just say her dreams come true after that. Now, this is only if I can fly, a portion of the church. Like, literally just kind of like one little section, as you will see here. I did my best to not only replicate the church, but also the exterior, such as the little waterways that are here, and I know it's not supposed to have any flowers, but I wanted to give it a little bit of color besides the white, and the path, oh, I absolutely love how it came out. Absolutely love it. Honestly, one of my favorite things so far. And of course, this build is a combination of various quartz and I believe white concrete that's up here. Now, it is not a 1-to-1 scale replica of the church because, let's face it, this thing's way too small. But, you know what? I'm really proud of myself. I never really attempted to build anything so grand, so this is very new to me, and I know it's technically speaking off center by 1, because this build heavily relies on the fact that on the doors, which is, I think, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So the doors are 3 by 5, I suppose. So yeah, this build mostly relies on the doors more than anything, and the stairs, I suppose. Now the first floor, of course, is like there's these like little windows that are blacked out because we in the show you can't really see inside of the windows, and these banners are supposed to be like the little yellow feathers. I think that's what they are. I'm not sure. Talons, I don't know, but they kind of look feathery, especially the design that I gave them. One thing you'll learn is that my memory is very finicky. My memory is very finicky, so it takes me a while to remember things. Now, I was originally going to use gold instead of, well, yellow concrete powder, but it matched the banners a little bit more. yeah, you can use gold if you want to instead, but it just matches a little bit more, you know? I made sure today was very symmetrical for both sides, as well as up here. Now the lanterns, like of course in this little tiny shop, are hidden behind the pillars or somewhere off site, so that way you can't tell how this building is illuminated. Now we never look above for the church in the show. In fact, we don't even know what it looks like, so I basically used my imagination and went with it. And we even have little statues of, well, stick figures, to be honest. One over here and one over here, both of them in different positions, because the statues in the show are also different. And if we go above, you can see the little bumps on the roof, I suppose, which honestly were by far the most difficult thing of the build, just so you know. And the bell that's also there with the little cross and whatnot. Now you can, and it's up to you. You can either make it, of course, short or you can make it longer. It's up to you. And honestly, that does look better, but it's up to you how you want it. But the bell is fairly simple, using, of course, a few different things. And the back, well, there it is. If you wanted to know how the back looks like, it looks like a mess, to be honest. I use glowstone so that way to illuminate the build just a little bit more. There we go. You will see very soon, of course, how the build is still illuminated, but not completely. Of course, even the water itself is illuminated. So that way, you know, you don't have to worry about mob spawning except for maybe on the roof. But other than that, not much. On to the next build. Now this one, unlike the church, was a lot easier to build, and but a little bit more, I guess, you have to be very careful with this build because this is a very in this is kind of like where the slums, you know, this is where the poor people live, you know, as you could tell by the horrible colors, you know, and the very rather, you could tell like how all the wood, the acacia wood, is kind of like slanted and on kind of like mismatched, so that way it shows like one, this build is not completely uniform, it's actually like built by hand or something. Even the road itself leading up to it, not as nice as the church one, but still, you know. On the roof, there's like these little pipes that go up, which I made them into chimneys because it made sense to me. Well, the most sense to me. And inside the build, of course, as you saw the back. Oh wait, this is trapdoors because it looks the most like the doors. So inside of this building is completely, utterly empty. Mostly because, well, I wanted to leave the whole back empty because there's supposed to be 3 of these little pipes on the builds, but only 2 fit for some odd reason for me. Maybe I did my calculation wrong, but either way, the reason I left the back empty is for you, the people, so you can, I guess, extend it that way because technically speaking, this build should be higher. One, it should be higher, and two, we don't know how long it is. We don't know because even though we do see Maine and her family and kind of like how they live, including the floor, because it's supposed to be a darker color, but I decided to go with a lighter color so that way we can contrast the builds. And I also use, well, oak planks, the I guess there. I used oak planks, stripped oak wood, and of course a beehive to kind of like create this mismatched floor, which I absolutely adore. And also, it feels like something the builders of this building would do, because you know it's where the poor people live. And last but not least, oh hello there, is a library, because you know, Ascendance of a Bookworm. Maine loves libraries. If there's one thing that she absolutely loves in this show, it's libraries, books, and family. Okay, that's 3 things, technically. And her friends, I suppose. Now, this library is technically not from the show at all. If anything, it is my own imagination. So, that's why well, one, it looks kind of like weird, but that's kind of like the point. Because show itself is, if you really think about it, this isekai show is a little bit weird. You have this little girl, well, I guess young lady trapped in this little girl's body, who basically goes about doing the best she can. She's like a cinnamon roll, honestly, a very sweet cinnamon roll. So we head inside this library that I built. You can see the floor is a little bit different from the outside. It's more kind of like rich and like kind of has this sense of like I don't know, like noble, I suppose, which makes sense if you've seen the second season. It just feels like, something that a noble would have, and like this kind of like feels like rugs, the variation of corals, as you can see. And again, we have the desk. Use your imagination, people. We have little, of course, flower pots, empty bookshelves, little, I guess, paintings on the walls, and an enchanting table where you can, enchant your items. Because this is a room is more for like decoration more than anything. It's to house you both your enchanting table and both for an area where you can like study and whatnot. And like most things, it has a secret. If we go through here, ta-da! You have honey blocks for windows, which I absolutely think is really cool. And you have the nether portal, which is kind of sticking out towards the top, but we don't talk about it. We won't talk about it. But I really like the effect that I gave it. It's not really turned on because, it's going to create this really loud noise and people are going to find out, you know, what's going on. Anyways, so underneath all these carpets are, well, glowstones, as you can see here. And there's like a little step to go back outside where you stand on the enchanting table for some odd reason. But yeah, this room is fairly simple and honestly kind of catches the eye, especially the floor with all the gold. I mean, you could also put diamonds if you want, or emeralds, or even redstone, and it would still look nice, but I wanted it to have like this yellowy feel, especially since most of everything is either yellowish in color, and to give it just a great contrast with the rest of the floor, which is just ugly. And here's the build from the outside. A mixture of course, oak planks and the stripped oak wood as well. It's very simple, and I especially love the front because you can see all the flowers and the small little bushes with two different kinds of leaves, spruce and oak, which you can do if you want. It's up to you how you want your bushes, but I love the contrast. In the show Ascendance of a Bookworm, Maine creates a lot of items. She does. She's a madman. Now we're gonna ignore that because that thing's gonna be rebuilt over there in 1.16 and whatnot. Ignore all of these. No. All of these is nothing. This right here. Now in Minecraft, there's redstone. And in redstone, there's, a lot of various contraptions you can do and you can build. This is by far the absolute ridiculous redstone I have ever built. I'll show you in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! It's a sink. Were you expecting anything else? Really? And, wait for it. Oh, wrong button. A shower. Which, to be honest, shouldn't actually be open from there. It should be open from in here. Okay, enough. You can stop now. Hello. There we go. That stopped it. So, first off, the sink. The bathroom. The world of privacy and whatnot. So, let's go out to the back. I had to remove this block right here in order to see if the lever's on and off. So, I'm going to do my best of explaining. Here goes absolutely nothing. So first, you have to know, the first pulse is a redstone torch, which of course, the observer updates this very first line. Of course, let's go with the first line. So it goes, pulse extended by 4, goes, ignore that first one, goes, all the way here, which causes this piston to extend, but because we also have this line right here, it causes this piston, of course, I think all of them are sticky, I believe, except for maybe one? No, all of them are sticky. Yeah, all of them are sticky. I thought one wasn't. Anyways, so the pulse goes, tells this piston to push this piston. And then the second pulse tells this piston to extend itself. Got it? Good. Now, there's also a third, of course, pulse as well. So the third pulse tells this piston right here to extend itself. Why would this piston want to extend itself? Well, let me just turn this off for right now. So as you can see, this is an empty cauldron, completely, utterly empty. This represents the sink being empty, just so you know. So the lever itself does two things. The first thing is to, well, one, push out the empty sink and to make it appear that the sink is empty, of course. Again, imagination, people, imagination. And the second thing that it does, if we go down below, there is an observer that updates every time, of course, the piston either extends or retracts, which sends a pulse to this piston, which sends a pulse, well, not a pulse, but more of moves this redstone block, which then tells this piston, and if we go back up, there should be now a cauldron full of water. So we have two very different cauldrons, one that's empty and one that's full. So it creates the illusion of the sink being filled. Now, it's very choppy, as you can tell right there. It's not perfect, I know that. But it's ridiculous, you gotta admit. It's pretty much ridiculous. Same thing with the shower itself. Now let's go over there, of course. Over here in the shower does a various few things, you know. So, of course, the lever's right here. I know this for a fact because, you know, I have this right here to tell me. So it sends a pulse to, of course, the repeater, which is at 4 ticks, which goes all the way to this piston, of course. Now, this piston right now, well, has the redstone block, which is currently activating this piston, which has a block which is preventing the water from flowing down continuously. Now, once this piston is moved, of course, then and only then, if I get a button, maybe if I could show you. I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, so if I get a button, it will, in theory, move, activating this piston, which of course in turn will activate this line, which will then activate this piston, which then will cause the block to move and create the illusion of, well, a shower, which, you know, is just water slowly trickling down on you. And if we go all the way back to the shower, as you can tell, right now, it's continuously dripping little by little. See you all next time. I'm excited. Well, in the show, mine, in the show, main, it's just very easy. All you had to do was get yellow, black, and yellow again. That's all you had to do for this. Let me just get the loom so I can show you what I mean. Okay, let's get the yellow. I know normally I don't show, you know, how they're done, but this one I feel like needs to, because honestly it looks really, look at it, it's so feathery. I mean, it's like I can't really. So what you have, no, wrong die. Where did my black die go? Seriously, it was right there. Okay, so you get the banner, you get the black die. So the first thing you want to do is get this one. Was it this one?